Merry Christmas, everyone. And today we are making Christmas cookies, specifically gingerbread men. Specifically, my mom always called them Tomtes. So let's get started. Tomtes are a thing you can make. You do not need a mixer, and it makes an amazing amount of cookies. So when you're making this at home, if you want, you can just cut the dough in quarters and make some and then freeze some and then make some more later, which is what I'm doing because in all honesty, it's November. So first step to making Tomtes is we have to boil some ingredients together. So we've got our hob set up. We're going to take a half a cup of water, dump that right in there. A half a cup of, okay, so this is when we get into the differences between British cooking and American cooking. In the recipe my mom uses, it says a half a cup of Karo syrup, dark Karo syrup, and Karo syrup isn't really a thing over here. I never see it in stores. And I was talking to my mom yesterday on the phone and she said to use molasses, and my grocery store didn't have a liquid molasses, so I'm just using golden syrup, which I think I have done before the last time I made these over Christmas, so we will see how it goes. So we have our half cup of water, our half cup of golden syrup / dark Karo syrup / molasses if you have it, and then 200 grams of sugar, tablespoon of ginger. Yeah. And it's very important to get ginger just all over the place as you do this. Then 2 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and finally 2 tablespoons of crushed cloves. Make sure that it melts and bring it to a boil. Hopefully I don't screw it up.
Because sometimes I get really nervous and distracted while we're filming, and I mess up the recipe. And then when I do the taste test, I just pretend it tastes good.
Oh my God, that's boiling. So that is a rapid boil. That's nice and foamy. We are done using our stovetop for the day. And now we take, how much butter? A cup of butter, or 227 grams of butter. Dump our butter in a large bowl. In fact, I hope my bowl will be big enough. And then we're going to take our hot little Christmassy mixture here, and we're just going to pour it straight onto the butter. Just stir it together until your butter melts. What you want to do is just set your bowl aside and let it cool to room temperature. And then we will add the flour. We have our liquid cooled to about lukewarm. I think it's lukewarm. Take 4 cups of flour, or 520 grams of flour. As always, the full recipe is in the description. So if you want to make this at home, you can look at that. To our flour, we are going to add, it's baking, oh shit, it's baking soda. Is it baking? Oh. This baking powder. Take a teaspoon and a half of baking soda. This is the difference for me between dealing with cakes and cookies. And I don't know if this is like technically right. This is just how I do it. Whenever I make a cake or like banana bread, I always sift my flour because I'm pretty sure that like gives a little more air to the flour and it helps it rise a little better. So you have a nice fluffy cake or a bread. Whenever I'm making cookies, I don't fool with that because it's just going to lay flat anyways. However, if you have lumpy flour or you just want to make sure that it's separated and has a bit of air, you can always take a whisk and give it a little swizzle. Same if you're like adding your baking soda to the ingredients or a little salt. You just mix it up with a whisk. Boom. Now from there, we are going to take our delicious little syrupy stuff here. Syrup. You got any syrup? How do you say it? Syrup. Add in our flour and stir and add until you have a nice, smooth dough. This is like quintessential, I don't know, like mom stance to me. There's something about like standing and like mixing a bowl, like turning around and being like, hey, stop hitting your brother. You know, I'm out of shape. My arm hurts. The second episode of this show, I made that black bean soup, which took me about 9 hours to make. And I complained to my mother how hard it was. And she just wrote back to me in all caps, cooking ain't for sissies. If we look, you'll see, if you look into the GoPro, how lovely and smooth that is. I think we're onto something here. I think we're really doing this right. So now what we have to do is cover it, put it in the fridge overnight. And as my mom says, you gotta wait till it gets rock hard. I will see you tomorrow. I will most likely be wearing the same thing for that shoot, but I probably won't do this to my eyes because it took me forever to do the freaking makeup. All right, we are back day 2 of making Tomtes, and our dough has hardened overnight. As you can see, I don't really know how I'm gonna get it out of the pan because it is incredibly stuck. Dear God. Are we gonna come out? I'm supposed to get it out and cut it in quarters. I feel like next time what I'll do is empty it into a bowl with plastic wrap so I can just lift the plastic wrap out and unwrap it. This is annoying. My mom said, just dump it out of the bowl, but it doesn't really dump well, does it? So this is obviously still really sticky. This makes an incredible amount of cookies. I don't remember exactly how many, but I was talking to my mom before I filmed this episode just to make sure that I got everything right on how to do this. And she was like, it makes so many. It makes so, like, she almost got hysterical. She's like, by the end, you'll be tired. You'll be tired of making these cookies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it into quarters. I'm going to freeze 3/4 of it separately, and I'm only going to work with 1/4 of it today. So if I freeze some of this, I will actually be able to have gingerbread for Christmas, which will be nice. That's tomorrow's problem. We get to the fun part. We get to the rollout. Oh shit, I forgot to get out my, hold on. It's been a bit of a day. You're supposed to roll these out to about 1/4 of an inch thick, which is about 1 centimeter. We're just gonna take our surface, cover it in flour, and roll it out and see how we go. Did you know that gingerbread is actually a British thing? So gingerbread, as far as like a cookie or a biscuit, started to become popular in the 15th century. The first sighting of a gingerbread man, if we can call it that, is when Queen Elizabeth I had a party and she had little gingerbread made of all of her guests. But we're not just making gingerbread men today. We are actually making something far cooler. We are making a Tomte, which, until I looked it up the other day, I've been spelling it wrong the whole time. Tomte, spelled Tomte, is a little Swedish gnome. It's basically a little gnome with a big pointy hat, usually red. And the word Tomte means homestead man. And they're little fairy creatures born of the soul of the first farmer of the land. Now we get to cut out our cookies. So we have our little gingerbread. And then in order to make the little hat that will go on top of it, I just took a piece of cardboard and I cut out a little template so it stays even, and we'll place it on top. So let's see how this goes. Maybe it'd help if I use the sharp side. Then we're gonna cut that. Hey, buddy. Then one right here. Just lift your excess dough away from your triangles in your gingerbread men. And you can ball this up and roll it out again to make some more cookies. You need your dough to soften a little bit before you roll it out, but when it gets too soft, sometimes it gets way too sticky, just pop it back in the fridge for a couple minutes. Pull over our baking sheet and just slowly oh, shut up. There we go. It's quicker just to use a spatula. And then the way you get your hat to stick to your little man is you're just going to take some water and just kind of dab it on his head. Come on. I believe in you. Oh my God, oh shit. We're going to need to make another hat. Okay, there we go. There we go. Look at how cute he is. They're kind of a little janky right now. At the end of the day, it just kind of all comes together. So I'm kind of trusting that will happen. No, I just broke him. I shouldn't have touched him. All right, they're dropping like flies at this point. I'm just going to start over. We're going to let those chill. We're going to try again. We're going to roll them out a little thicker, I think, this time. While we're waiting for that, we're going to make our icing. We need our hat to be a beautiful, vibrant red. A cup or 130 grams of icing sugar. We're going to do a half teaspoon of cream of tartar and then 1 egg white. Now, here's the thing. You don't bake this icing. I asked my mom, I was like, are you sure? And she's like, nope, you definitely don't bake it. You don't bake it. And I know a lot of people are weird about raw eggs. If this makes you uncomfortable, you can, of course, use any type of icing you want. You can even just buy icing. We, of course, are going to do this just like Mom made. Whip it to get all of the chunks out. That's what it looks like. I'm not going to say exactly what this looks like. All I'm saying is it looks like a substance that would be in a 90s teen movie. Now we're just going to add our food coloring. Oh, cool. Oh my gosh, look at that. That's such a pretty bright red. All right, that's done. We're going to try this again. You know, whenever I make this show, I try to keep everything as organized as possible. And in my attempt to organize everything, I think I make it more disorganized. Let's cut out some gingerbread men. There we go. These are not as thin. And as you can see in the GoPro, they're holding their shape a lot better. Now we need our little hats. We need our hats. We have happy little gingerbread men. Okay. And there are our first 5. So... not so. Stop saying so all the time. So what are your holiday traditions? Leave it in the comments. I want to know. Do you have any good recipes? Ooh, let's share holiday recipes. So if you have a good recipe, please share it in the comments. I'd love to know. So we're going to put them in the oven. The original recipe says 12 to 15 minutes. My mom scratched that out and put 7. So I'm going to check them after 7. And really, especially with cookies, it depends on your oven. Check super early because when they burn quick. Here we go. Here's our first round. Oh no. I just realized I had my oven on slightly the wrong setting. These look so cute. You just wait. It means Homestead Man. Tom, don't walk away from you. I'm trying to share the history. It's times like these that I wish I didn't record the show on my phone. What time is it? I can't tell. I have my time. 30 more seconds. 30 more seconds. 5, 4, 3. Boom. That actually still feels pretty raw. I'm going to put them in for 2 more minutes. I'm so tired of filming right now. Merry fucking Christmas. I love cooking. I love baking. It's very exhausting. You can't just stop and sit down. I'm gonna, as per usual, have a breakdown while I cook. I'm gonna call those done. You see, they're actually starting to brown a little bit on the outside. We're just gonna leave them to cool on the pan for about 10 minutes. Switch them to our rack, have them cool completely, and then we will paint them. Take your red icing, smear it on the hat. And that's it. We missed a corner. That's all you do. You just paint the top of the hat over and over and over and over and over again. I'm going to keep working on this project, but I'm going to say goodbye to you here in the video. Please press like. Please press subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a happy holiday and goodbye. Oh my God, I'm so tired right now. This is fucking ridiculous.